Hey guys, and welcome back to the harsh socialist Russian landscape of the far north of Siberia. We have a few jobs we have to get done today. We need to finish up our maps of the local area, as this will allow us to better complete any jobs we may be given in the future. After that, it seems we've had a break. The scrap business is quite profitable, and people around Zimnigorsk have heard a bit about how should I say it? My proclivity for scrapping older heavy-duty trucks. They've given us a few tips about some vehicles laying around Zimnigorsk and the surrounding areas. They either gave us explicit permission to take their scrap, or a subtle heads up that the scrap has been there long enough that no one will care about us scrapping it. The first tip they gave us was about a Soviet 8x8 missile carrier that's been stuck out in the forest for years. Probably a MAZ 537 or 543. The second tip was about another Kraz 6443 that has been broken down outside a guy's house for years. For a small sum, we can scrap what we need off the thing. We can always use extra parts for trucks we have, so let's get started. Looks like we might be able to scavenge an engine from this 16-wheeled missile-carrying beast. We'll mark this on our map and come back for it later. In any case, let's head off to see if we can't grab anything off the Kraz 6443. This Kraz 6443 has been sitting in this guy's yard for longer than I've been alive. At least that's what it looks like. The chassis is barely holding the engine up with all the rust that has been eating away at it, but it's obvious the engine was rebuilt at some point. We should take it off their hands as a spare for our Kraz. We should probably start heading back over to the quarry for now to pick up the geologist, as we got another contract from Rosneft for more seismic vibration readings. It seems our last expedition with them got much closer to the actual location, but we still need to take one more reading before we can get the exact location. Let's get going there now in the Kraz 6443, our trusty six-wheeled beast. Looks like we finally made it over to the survey area. After completing the seismic survey, the geologist examined all of the survey results we've gotten up to this point, and all the results are pointing us to an old oil rig the Soviet Ministry of Oil Production could never get up and running due to the limitations of old technology. Rosneft thinks that we can get the thing running again with modern technology. Looking at the map, I think we have just enough fuel left in our tanks to get us and the engineer over to the drill site to get the last seismic survey done and over with. We just barely made it over here on the fumes in our tank, and after running the seismic vibrator, I can say that I think we're in luck. We'll need to deliver some more equipment here in the near future to get the oil production up and running. We'll also need to get the Taymyr 800 over here with some extra diesel in the near future. In the meantime, it's time we finally dug out that Ural 4320 we got told about in the second episode, and got it fixed up and ready to go. For that, we'll take the giant Gaz 5903, also known as the Tatarin, to pull it out. The giant 16-wheeled former armored personnel carrier is more than mighty enough to get this Ural 4320 dragged over to the factory, where the owner has been more than kind enough to give us access to the tools and parts in their vehicle maintenance garage. This kindness doesn't come free of charge, of course. We had to slip him 82,000 rubles under the table, which is around $1,000. In any case, let's drag this thing up. We're going to need some fuel over here for the Ural, as well as for our Kras 6443 over at the future drilling site. So we're going to bring over the Tatarin 805 to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Now that we're here, let's get the Ural 4320 all fixed up, and we'll end the episode here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.